And this guy starts ugly crying, chat. Prince Colin, he does a Tobey Maguire just ugly cry. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Columbia Pictures presents a world apart from anything you have seen before. Krull.
All of you have probably seen this movie, chat, because this film is super derivative of so many other sci-fi and fantasy properties out there, chat. Oh, so many sci-fi fantasy franchises. If you've seen Star Wars, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, if you've heard of the Arthurian legend of King Arthur, chat, if you, and you know, Merlin and Excalibur, you have seen Krull. There's some minor adjustments and tweaks, you know, along the way, but you've seen this movie. You beat for beat for beat. You know exactly what's going to happen, who's going to die. It's all laid out there for you. Just like, oh, wow, because I was watching this. This is, chat, the hero's journey to a goddamn T. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you right now, chat, I have never seen Krull before. I've heard of it. I know of the weapon. You have at least recognized the weapon, chat, the glaive, which is like this spinning star, chat, and it's one of the most powerful weapons, not only on the planet of Krull, chat, but in the entire universe. No one can withstand the might of the glaive, chat, especially the beast, leader of the Slayers, conqueror of worlds and dimensions, chat. He cannot withstand the power of the glaive. Okay, you've seen this weapon, chat. It's been in pop culture. It's part of the pop culture zeitgeist. Maybe not the movie, but certainly the weapon, chat. It's one of the most iconic weapons in all of film. So I'll give the movie that. But I'll tell you right now, chat, I don't hate this movie. You know, I'm gonna make fun of it. I'm definitely gonna make fun of it, chat. But there is, I'll say, you know, there was a lot of effort put into this. Not everything was well executed, but there were some good ideas. And man, they want a fucking franchise. I can tell you that right now, chat. They are sequel baiting like hell for this movie. Like the first opening line is two kingdoms come together, a warrior and a princess, and they rule the planet, but their son shall rule the universe. And we never see what that son does, chat, because we never get to that point. But at least we see what good old mom and dad are doing on the planet of Krull. That I could tell you, chat. Kind of give you a brief background on the movie. This was made because of Star Wars. Funny enough, it came out the same year as Return of the Jedi did, chat. This is part of that craze of studios just greenlighting sci-fi and fantasy films, chat, trying to capitalize on the success, both the commercial and critical success of Star Wars. And Krull just, it missed it by a huge, wide margin, chat. Had a budget. They say estimated between $27 and $30 million. This thing had money. This thing definitely was made of some money, chat. A box office, chat, of $16.9 million. It was one of the biggest box office bombs of not only 1983, chat, but of the 80s. But despite that, chat, the film has been reappraised since its initial release. And, when it was first released, chat, it got kind of like mixed reviews, and people didn't like hate it, when they recognized what it was. But it wasn't reviled or anything like that. In years since, it has found a place among a lot of fans of sci-fi and fantasy properties, chat. It's a cult classic now. I think, and I can say that. Even I enjoyed this film. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, this is an awful movie, don't see it. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a fun watch. You're gonna dig it. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. And I think that's part of the appeal, chat. But yeah, I was surprised by how much I like this film. Exactly. It's the definition of a cult classic film. But chat, I'm going to attempt to tell you the story of Krull. Now, there's a lot of terms, and there's a lot of characters in this movie, and I don't know all their names. I'm going to do my best to know some of their names, chat. I know some of their names, and we can go from there. I'm going to check Wikipedia. I'm like, what the fuck are they referencing? What thing do they need? So I'm going to go back and forth to you. Just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. I will also refer to some actors or some characters by their actor's name, chat, because it's just more convenient for me. Welcome to Stream Captain. Hope you're doing very well. So, chat, we are opening up to space. The vastness of space, chat. Oh my God, it's the glaive. The glaive, chat, it's spinning in space, and we hear this triumphant score. That's one of the things I'll be very positive about in this film, chat. The score is pretty goddamn good, chat. I mean, it's very, again, derivative of something like John Williams, but it's nice. It's triumphant. It fits the scenes. Whether it be action, chat, or the more whimsical numbers, or the kind of the sheer scope of the world they're trying to, pitch to you, the planet of Krull. I did really enjoy the score a lot, chat. I was actually listening to it while I was doing some editing today for some of my upcoming content. So I love it, chat. But we see the glaive spinning through space, and oh my God, it cuts across the screen, chat, and it says Krull. And Krull, chat, for those like, what's Krull? It's just a planet that we're on. It's it's just the story of Krull, the planet that we're going to be seeing this adventure with Prince Cowan, chat, and his mentor Ynir, chat, and you also got Ergo the fool. All those good guys there, chat. But as the logo is in front of us, oh no, it's destroyed, chat. The logo is blown up by the bad guys. The bad guys, chat, they are inside a giant stump. The bad guy's spaceship is a giant wooden stump, chat, and it has like a gooey center. It's not like a good gooey center, chat, like, in a Snickers or something. That's not filled with caramel or peanuts or the nougat. It's like filled with like a giant pimple. So imagine, chat, a giant swollen pimple inside of a wooden stump. Not a great image. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not a great image, chat, but it was going through space, chat. We're capturing the majesty of the stump and the giant pimple, and it's getting closer and closer to the planet of Krull. And we have the narrator, Chad, who's also the character Ynir. He's the Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the Merle of the movie, Chad. And he's saying that the Slayers and the Beasts, they arrived on the planet Krull, intending to conquer the planet and enslave its people. These are the very bad people, Chad, very bad people. And it lands upon the planet's surface, Chad. And then you could tell that they really had some budget cuts during this film because there's a lot of stock footage that they reused throughout the movie. And you see Chaz like, oh no, the enemies. By the way, these guys are coming from space and they're riding horses. So it's a mixture of like straight fantasy and hard sci-fi. And those things are kind of bumping heads. Like they're bumping heads throughout the entire goddamn movie. It's like, this is just weird. But I love that the people who are in the giant space stump with the giant pimple in the middle are riding out of the space stump on horseback. It's just weird to me. Thank you, Nia Brownie, for the Jupiters. Hey, Christopher. Hey, Juicy Gain. How you doing? I'm doing great, Nia Brownie. I'm talking about Krull, and the bad guys live in a giant stump with a big fucking pustulating pimple inside. It's pulsating, chat. It's always pulsating. It's like, ooh, it's always on the brink of popping, chat. It's got like a little fluid leaking out of it. It's like, ooh, a little, that's it. But you don't ever see it pop until the end of the movie, chat. And boy, it's fucking gross. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But they land, chat. And they come out of the stump pimple, and the thing is, you could again they use a lot of footage here, and they just reverse shots because you'll notice, chat, that the horses are actually they're galloping backwards out of the fucking hole. So they originally shot this with the people going inside of the space pimple stump, but now they're just reversing the footage, and the horses are like just galloping backwards. It's like, wait a minute. So already at the top, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is a good sign. I was concerned at first, chat, but it gets better. It gets better. And the thing is, the Slayer, they're called the Slayers, chat. They are the soldiers, chat, the warriors of the beast, who resides in the stump pimple. And they go out to the lands of Krull, conquering various kingdoms and villages and towns, chat. Anyone who witnesses them shall feel their cold steel and laser spears. They have laser spears, chat. That's kind of cool. You don't often see laser spears. They don't really stab anything. They just fire lasers. But then, chat, because the Slayers and the Beasts have been conquering Krull for so long, the two largest kingdoms, chat, they've like two largest kingdoms, but they've also been at war with each other for generations. And they realize, like, we got to stop fighting each other. We got to establish an alliance in order to defeat the Slayers and get them off the goddamn planet. And so you have these two kingdoms, chat. One is the kingdom of Colwyn, chat. And then we have Prince Colwyn, who is going to marry the other king's daughter, chat, Prince Lisa. And the thing is, chat, Daddy Colwyn and Lisa's daddy, they don't want their kids to marry. They're not about that. But Prince Colwyn and Princess Lisa, they like each other like a lot, chat. And it's heavily implied in the beginning of the movie that they had hot and sweaty sex earlier when they met each other. And they're like, hey, dads, why don't we all just have an alliance through marriage? And they're like, we don't like that, but it says it's the only way to defeat this. Like, all right, fuck it. So, chat, Prince Colwyn and his dad, they're riding to the kingdom of Lysa, where Princess Lysa is with her dad, chat. By the way, the actress who played Princess Lysa, chat, Lisette Anthony, I thought something was weird about her performance, chat. The fact that her words did not match her mouth at all throughout the film. And it's because, chat, the actress is British, and the producers said, we don't want no goddamn Brits in this movie. We don't want no British girls. So give her an American accent. And so they gave her an American accent. So she sounded more mature, I guess. So I guess, chat, Americans are just more mature than British people, according to the producers of Krull. And so throughout the entire movie, chat, anytime she talks, it's just not synced up at all. So I'm like, okay, this is good. It's okay though, chat. It's okay. Because she's in some kind of cool scenes. So, like Lisa's dad, chat, good old Lisa's dad. I love it, chat. Princess Lisa, I mean, it's very close to Leia. I was like, I see what you're doing here. Krull. She's waiting for her Prince Colwyn, chat. They love each other. They've had hot and sweaty sex, and she wants more of that, baby. But Lisa's dad, he doesn't want her to have any more hot and sweaty sex. He's upset about this alliance, but she's telling her, it's like, listen, it's the only way to repel the forces of the beast and the slayers. And he goes, I know, but I would rather you marry the lowliest peasant than this jabroni. She's like, I'm sorry, Dad, I love him. And he's like, all right. She said, did you send out your forces to make sure that they have a safe journey? He's like, of course I did. Of course, chat. But oh no, because we cut to Prince Colwyn and his dad, chat, and they didn't look like they met the forces of Lisa's dad because there were only a few men left. And eventually they get to the goddamn castle, and tensions are high, chat, because they're already yelling. They're already yelling, like, where were you? You were supposed to send some of your troops to protect us. We lost 30 men on the road to the Slayers. And he's like, I did send them. And he's like, well, we never met them. It's like, oh my God, chat, the Slayers and the Beast, they must have came upon them beforehand and wiped them out. And also tried to kill Prince Colwyn's forces because he doesn't want no hot, sweaty sex to happen on Krull because he has other intentions with Princess Lisa, chat, and Prince Colwyn. Thank you so much. Who was that? That was very generous, chat. Thank you, Darksaber, with the 5 biddies. How weird to dub over an English woman even though she speaks English. I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Braille Charisma, good to see you. Hope you're doing very well. So, they're like, all right, well, let's, but the kids calm their dads down. They calm down, and they said, listen, we're going to get married. We're going to repel the Slayers. It'll all be great. And dad's like, all right. So we'll prepare for the wedding ceremony tonight, chat, because Prince Colwyn and Princess Lisa, they're going to be married, and they're going to make so many babies, chat, so many babies, and it's going to be great for everyone on Krull. And so, chat, they're getting ready to get married. Their dads are presenting them, chat, walking down the whole aisle and everything. You got the priest from the Princess Bride. He's like, marriage, and it's so important. And he's marrying him, chat. But oh no, they come under attack by the Slayers, chat. It's almost as if the Slayers knew that hot and sweaty sex was about to occur in the kingdom here, chat. So they're under attack, and they just start stabbing and lasering all these people. It's a goddamn slaughterhouse, chat. People are just being eviscerated. It's fucking nuts. And Prince Colwyn, he teams up with his dad and Lisa's dad and says, take the princess out of the castle. We'll meet you at this location. And she goes with the royal guard, chat, and they take her away. And so him and the two dads, they start fighting, chat. But then Lisa's dad, he gets stabbed like a lot. He gets stabbed a whole bunch. He's going, ugh! And he dies. Princess Lisa's dad is now dead, chat. And then as the guards are escorting Lisa out of the castle, chat, they are attacked by the Slayers, chat. By the way, the Slayers look they're like they're like medieval stormtroopers. It's very obvious, chat. They all have that white armor. I'm like, I see what you're doing here, Krull. But they attack the guards, chat. These guards suck, by the way. These are like the worst guards and soldiers I've ever seen in the movie, chat, because they are constantly getting stabbed. And they're like using regular swords, chat, against fucking laser rifles. It's like if I had a medieval sword, chat, and someone that was standing like, I don't know, like a yard away, like, I don't know, let's say it's like 10 feet away, has a goddamn submachine gun. Who do you think is gonna win? So the people of Krull are at a bit of a disadvantage, chap, over the technological prowess of the Slayers and the Beast, okay? And so Lisa, her guards, they suck and they die horrifically, and she is stolen by the Slayer shed, and she is taken out of the castle. Prince Cowan, he sees this shed, and he's so mad, and he sees his dad getting stabbed. He's like, I'm getting stabbed, and he gets stabbed in the tum-tum, and thankfully he saves his dad, Chad, from getting stabbed. He's like, are you okay, Dad? He's like, I'm okay. Let's go and get your... And he gets stabbed again. He gets shot, Chad. He gets stabbed, then he gets shot by one of the Slayers, and he keels over, and Prince Cowan's like, Dad! And then, oh my God, Chad, Prince Cowan is shot, and he falls down. He's he's immersed, Chad, in just a ton of blood and viscera and gorge. Everyone's been just murdered. And the Slayers are like, well, instead of double tapping, let's just leave because, we're just here to kidnap Prince Lisa. And so they run off, Chad. And Princess Lisa, she's taken to the stump pimple where it's pulsating dramatically, Chad. It's really pulsating, and they take her in there where the beast lies in wait, Chad. Why? What does he want with Princess Lisa, Chad? We shall soon learn. But then, Chad, we cut to a new character. He's basically Obi-Wan Kenobi, chat, but he is called the Old One, also known as Ynir, chat. He's known as Ynir, and he has come down from his mountaintop, chat, because he realizes that the alliance between the two most powerful kingdoms in Krull has fallen apart, and he believes that the Prince of Cowan, he is the chosen one, and he will lead the people of Krull to victory against the Slayers and the Beast. So he comes down there, chat. And thankfully, he finds Prince Cowan alive in a gore pit. And he fishes him out of the gore pit, chat. And he addresses his wounds. And he rubs this, I don't know what, like some petroleum jelly on him. And it's like, there you go, you're good. And and then Prince Cowan wakes up. He goes, Prince Lisa! He's like, she's not here. And he's just like, where is she? She has been taken. She has been taken by the Slayers and the Beast. And this guy starts ugly crying, chat. Prince Cowan, he does a Tobey Maguire just ugly cry. And Ynir's like, okay, I don't have fucking time for you to cry all over yourself and soil yourself, okay? You have to unite the people of Krull. And Prince Cowan, he's just like, it's over. It's fucking over. There's no point anymore. He's just like, oh, stop it. Stop your wailing, boy. I came down from my mountaintop because he recognizes Ynir. Oh my God, you're the Old One. You're the wisest of us all. You came down from your mountaintop, and you only do that when the people of Krull in dire need of help. And he says, I came down from my mountaintop for the intention to find a king. But all I found is a crying boy. And fucking Prince Cowan's like, fuck you, dude. He's like, well, make me believe otherwise. And he's like, fine, I will. And he follows Ynir, and he sits down to Ynir, and he's like, it's hopeless. I don't know where they've taken them. And Ynir, he's all the exposition, by the way. He knows everything. And he's like, I'm going to give you a whole lot of exposition, like over the course of the movie. So you're just going to have to sit there and take it. And he tells him she's been taken to the Black Fortress, chat. It's the stump pimple. And, it's the only way you have to go to it to save her. He's like, how can I do that? You need the glaive of Krull. And, fucking Prince Cowan's like, oh, the glaive of Krull, that's just a legend. That's just a myth. That's what the goddamn, the wives tell their children. And, as they want them to go to sleep. He goes, no, it's real. It's real. And it's the only thing that can defeat the beast who lies in the middle of the Black Fortress. And he goes, well, where is this glaive? And I love this because he just says, it's just up this mountain. He's like, are you fucking, like the mountain that we're currently on? Yeah, it's just right up there, man. Just take a hike and you'll get it. And he's like, do I need to do like any tests or anything? He's like, nah, you can just go pick it up. And he's like, really? Yeah, really? He's like, I'm going to go get it then. He's like, all right, I'll wait. And so fucking Prince Cowan, chat, just climbs this mountain, which takes about 5 minutes. Does not take long. Epic score, all that, and everything. All that shit. And he gets up there, chat, and he enters the chamber where the glaive is kept, chat. And so it's magma, it's lava in there, which is spoopy. So it's very hot. It's very hot and sweaty. And he goes there, chat, and he comes upon like a precipice where it's this little lava pool. And in the middle of the lava pool, chat, is the glaive. It's just in the lava. And he's just like, I'm just going to put my hand in there and just reach for it. And so he puts his hand in lava, chat. And you can imagine what happens after that. He's completely fine. It's just Kool-Aid. He realizes, oh my God, it's cool to the touch, chat. So it's just like really thick Kool-Aid. It's like Kool-Aid, chat, that you just put way too much sugar in there. Just way too much sugar. And it looks, it's like super murky, and it's just kind of like Kool-Aid sludge. So he puts his hand in the Kool-Aid sludge, chat, where he takes the glaive out, and then he has the glaive. And he has it. That's it. That's all it is. No epic quest to get the glaive, chat. No challenges. Just put his hand into some sludge-like Kool-Aid and just picked it up. And he brushes the Kool-Aid off, chat. And it's all shiny and shit. Ace Rock, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here, good sir. Just talking about Krull right now, where our hero has automatically found the weapon. Because he went up a mountain. Took him like 5 minutes. He put his hand in Kool-Aid and he got it. And so then he goes back down the mountain. He goes, that was surprisingly easy. But then, good old Ynir says, listen, you can only use it once. He's like, only use it once? Are you serious? He's like, yeah. Well, it's like, when should I use it? He's like, you'll know. What does that mean? He's just like, I don't know, man. It's what the script says. You'll know when to use it. And he goes, all right, I'm going to put it in my fucking pocket for now. Thank you, Dr. the 5 minutes. So a legendary weapon is just a climb up the mountain. Why can't games be like this? I know, literally, but he can't use it yet. But he shall know when to use it, chat. He shall know. Thank you, though, Dark the 5 buddies. And he's like, well, how do we get to the Black Fortress? And Ynir's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? It's like the Black Fortress constantly travels around the planet of Krull. It can be in the fields of Krull. It can be in the mountains of Krull, the desert of Krull. It changes location every single day. And he's like, holy fucking shit, that would be impossible. How do we find it? He's like, I know one individual. Only one person, he says, chat, only one person on the planet of Krull can help us find the Black Fortress and know its location at all times, the Great Seer. And he goes, are we going to go find the Great Seer? He's like, yep, let's go. And so they go find the Great Seer. Meanwhile, chat, we cut back to the Black Fortress, the Stump Pimple, as I like to call it, where Princess Lisa, chat, she's woken up. She woke up, chat. And the Beast is talking. And I'm going to tell you right now, the design for the Beast is pretty goddamn cool. One, she's being kept. I love the inside because the outside of Krull, it's very, prototypical fantasy, Lord of the Rings-esque villages, swords and shields, magic, all that. But the inside of the Stump Pimple, it's all like really organic looking. It's like the walls are all smooth and like they come together and they press in together and things. Like it's very interesting, chat. Like they're just like they're squishy. Everything's like really squishy in there, and how they're molded over each other. It's everything feels very organic. It's very inspired, I'll say. And she's being kept what looks like in a giant eye, like she's just sitting in a literal giant's eye, chat. And she's hearing this ominous voice of Princess Lisa. I'm glad you could join me. She's like, why have you stolen me from my husband? He is no husband of you. The marriage was never consummated. You, Lisa, you are what I desire most. Our child shall rule the galaxy. The prophecy was ordained. And she's like, I ain't having hot, sweaty sex with you. It's like, oh, you will. You will rule by my side for eternity. You may go anywhere you wish in my Stump Pimple, which I don't like when he says Stump Pimple, chat. And we only see like little parts of the Beast. Like only a bit. We see like all of his organs are on the outside, so they're all exposed, chat, and they're always like pulsating. It's like very interesting design here, but they're always pulsating and moving, chat, and like his insides are all clear. So you'll see his muscle and tissues and circulatory system and stuff from his head. I mean, this is what his face looks like. You see it right here, chat. Like that's his face. But it's a really inspired design for the creature, chat. The guy who does the voice for the Beast is Trevor Martin, but it's just I don't know if he's done any other voice work, but like his lungs are all exposed. It's a very inspired and creepy design for a monster. I really dug it. No creepy Anakin and Padme sex. No, none of that. None of that in this movie. But the Beast, he wants all that. He wants all that. And Princess Lisa, she's like, I really don't want that. He's like, you will. You will. And then we cut back to Prince Colin, Chad, and Ynir. And they're traveling to the goddamn forest and things, or at least a set that's supposed to be a forest. And they come across the character of Ergo the Magnificent, chat. And he's like this. He fancies himself a magician. He has a famous saying, chat. He describes himself as short in stature, tall in power, narrow of purpose, and wide in vision. He is none of those things. I mean, he's short as fuck, but he has none of the other three. Not at all. And he apparently, Chad, he was fucking with some magical creature, and it just kicked his guy. It literally kicked his ass, and he flew like right over, Prince Cowan's head and Ynir's head. And they fished him out of a goddamn pond, and he's pretty much the comic relief of the movie. He is the Jar Jar Binks, if you will, of the film, the C-3PO, if you will, Chad. Thank you, Afternoon 2, for the 100 biddies. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing very, very well. Oh man. Ace Rock, I fucking love this movie as a kid. It's a fun film. I'm gonna give it that. Like, I'm making fun of it, but it's a fun movie. I can tell you that right now. And so they fish him out of the goddamn pond, chat, and he's like, "Get your hands off me!" And they're like, "Don't you need any help?" Ergo, he's like, "No, I don't travel with peasants and beggars. I'm a man of great intellect and great wisdom." And he's like, "You insult me by touching me, and for your transgression, I will turn you into a fat, ugly goose." And he has like all these pages of like a magic book. He's like, yes, and he does, and he turns himself into a fat, ugly goose. And Prince Colin and Ynir, they're all fucking laughing at him. He eventually turns back. He turns back, and he's like, "All right, fuck you guys. I'm going in this direction. That's where my work takes me." And so he goes back into the forest, chat. But then he comes across a giant hulking Cyclops who's just staring at him. He goes, "Ah!" And he runs away, chat. And he says, You know what? Actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to join you. I'm going to join you on your little journey here. My business does take me this way." And Prince Colin's like, "Hey, the more the merrier." Ynir's is like, "Fuck this guy," but all right, fine. And so they go on their journey, chat. But the Cyclops, it looks at them, chat, and it continues to follow them. What is this Cyclops' purpose? Why does it wish to follow Prince Colin and Ergo and Ynir? Oh, we shall soon learn, chat. We shall soon learn much. We shall learn much about the Cyclops. But eventually, they continue on their journey, chat, and they're kind of going across this like desert, mountainous terrain, chat. Oh no, they are come upon by bandits, chat, and they want to steal everything that they have. But Prince Colin, he notices something about them. They are chained, so they were former prisoners. And the leader of these bandits, chat, his name is Torquil, chat, played by Ullen Armstrong, who you've seen a ton of different films, chat, over the last 4 decades. He's been in a ton of stuff. You've seen this actor before, but he plays the leader of the bandit, chat. Also part of the bandit, chat, we see a very, very young Liam Neeson and a very young Hagrid from Harry Potter, chat. Both of them are there. Hagrid, he is dubbed over, much like Princess Lisa, chat. So that's not his voice, and it's because he was dubbed over. But Prince Colin recognizes that they were chained and they were kept in the prisons, chat, of both his kingdom and his bride-to-be's kingdom. And he says, "Listen, I'm in need of great warriors on this quest." And they're like, "What's this quest? Does it pay well?" He says, "It pays very well. Your freedom." And they're like, "Bah, freedom. We didn't have freedom to begin with. We fought for our freedom, and you can continue to fight for your freedom now. The Slayers and the Beast will enslave all of Krull, and eventually they'll conquer all of the known universe. And that's the last thing we want. If you want to be truly rich, help me on this journey. Help me." And Tranquil's like, "I will help no one who put me in chains." And Prince Colin, he's just like, "Well, I'll remove your chains." And he begins, chat, to remove the chains, everyone that's there, including all these other bandit characters, and they will join Prince Colin, chat. But Tranquil, he's impressed by this. He says, "I will join you on your journey, but I will remain in my chains, and you may unchain me once this quest of yours is complete." And he says, fair enough. And they continue on their journey, chat. They continue moving and grooving. They're all on horseback. They got weapons and stuff. And eventually, though, chat, they're in the Slayer territory, though, as the realm of the beast, chat. So the lands have been covered in the beast's influence. So they're in a very trepidatious journey right here. And at one point, fucking Ergo won't shut the fuck up. So he's constantly being, annoying and shit. And he's like, oh, fucking gooseberries. And he's hungry all the time. And so he's stuffing his fat face with gooseberries, chat. But oh no, a Slayer appears and tries to laser him to death with a laser spear. He goes, ah! But thankfully, chat, the Cyclops is there. And he has a giant trident and he just fucking throws this thing and boom, kills him instantly, chat. And eventually, the group, they find Ergo. He's like, oh, I was so traumatized, but he's brought back to life by Ynir. And he goes, what was wrong? He says, I saw a great beast, and that great beast felled that great beast. And he's like, it was the Cyclops that you saw. I expected him to be following us. He's like, Cyclops? What do you know of Cyclops? And we learn, chat, apparently the Cyclops, they were a race of giants who originally had 2 eyes, is what Ynir's telling us. But in order to gain great power, in order to gain the power of sight to see everyone's future, they made a deal with the Beast, who apparently has control over space and time. I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't wipe everybody out. Maybe he has like limited abilities. Or maybe you have to consent to him, and that's how he's able to manipulate you. But the thing is, though, the Beast, he betrayed them, and he only gifted them only with 1 eye and only the sight, only the future to see their demise yet. So they could see the future, but only the day they die. That is how they know. That is how they know. It's like, that's fucking dark as hell. And he goes, yes, they are a sad and lonely race. But they have tried to make up for the mistake they made centuries ago. So I'm kind of confused as to, like, does the Space Pimple and the Beast and the Slayers been on Krull for like a long time? They never really say that. That's a bit confusing, Chet. I guess I'm assuming that they have been there for a while. I'm not sure, but who knows? And they continue on their journey. Eventually, chat, they visit the Seer. They visit the Seer, and he keeps himself in a giant fucking cave with a big old rock in front of it, but it's a hologram, chat. He's got a hologram in there. And, you know, Prince Cowan and Ynir and Torquil and Ergo, they go inside. They're like, oh, shit, this is crazy magic. And they walk in there, chat, and they find a little boy named his name is Titch. I'm going to call him Twitch because it's easier for me to say. Twitch. They find him there. And, you know, Ynir's like, can we speak to your master, dear boy? He's like, of course. And they take him to the Seer, chat. And it's just this old man who, you know, he's blind, chap, but he can see all. He sees better than anyone, even though he's blind. Except for the one time where he should have had the gift of sight, chat, and he didn't see it coming. So they go to him. They go, hey, Seer, how you doing? He's like, I'm great. How are you? And he's like, listen, we're trying to find the Stump Pimple. Can you help us out? He's like, oh yeah, sure, I can help you out with that. Let me look for it. And he sees it, Chet. He sees it on the snowy mountains of Krull. He's like, there it is. But oh no, the Beast like astral projects his hand towards the Seer, and he destroys the vision. The Seer is blown back. She's blown right in his scrawny old ass. And it goes, oh, the Beast is too powerful, and he knows of my domain. I can no longer be here with my apprentice. We must journey with you. And they're like, okay. Meanwhile, Tranquil is just stealing all of the old man's stuff. He's like stealing all of his emeralds and jewels and gold coins. Like, I'm gonna make some fucking money off of this. I'm gonna take care of my boys. And so they all fucking leave, chat. And the Seer tells him, it's like, okay, we have to make sure to stay out of the domain of the Slayers and the Beast, so we must go down the most dangerous path possible into the swamps of despair. Great. I can't wait to go to the swamps of fucking despair. And so they're walking to the fucking swamps of despair, chat. And good old Tranquil, he shows Liam Neeson, Haggard, hey, look at all the stuff I got. Made a fucking fortune off of this. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, well, all the jewels I have in here. Like, those aren't jewels. They all turned to rocks. He's like, what the hell? These were jewels and emeralds and diamonds and sapphires. Like, haha, sure, Tranquil, sure. No, you're adorable. And they continue walking. And the Seer, he gives the biggest shit-eating grin imaginable. Just like, yeah, I fucking changed those. You assholes. No one steals from me. I may not be able to see, but I see the bullshit you're trying to pull, Liam Neeson, Haggard, and Tranquil. And so they continue their journey, chat. But again, we're going to come to the part where the swamps have earned their name, chat, of despair. Because these fucking dumbasses don't realize that a swamp, it's a swamp of despair. It's dangerous. And they just keep fucking walking, not following the path, Chad. And eventually they wind up in fucking quicksand, where like 2 of the bandits, they just fucking drown in quicksand, Chad. They're dead. Thank you, for the 5 minutes. There's never an easy way in games. Never, man. It was easy to obtain the weapon, but the journey to defeat the bad guy, always difficult. Very, very difficult. Gaming Tiger Shark, welcome. Oh, the classic old but secretly a goat trope. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, for right now. Because the movie does kind of fuck with your expectations to a degree. And so, two of the bandits, they just drown in quicksand, chat. They get got, and they get set in the series. Just like, well, I'm gonna let you guys do that. I could see in the future, and I can tell you right now, those two guys are fucking dead. Ha! So he's laughing. He's having a good time. Meanwhile, the Cyclops, he joins them, chat, because they come upon some of the Slayers. They're attacked by the Slayers, chat, and while they get out of the quicksand, and he helps them, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you for helping us. We were wondering when you were gonna come and join our merry band." And he's like, "Well, I just want to keep my distance. I know some people are rather mistrustful of Cyclopses," and they're like, "Well, you've proven yourself an honorable soul. Happy to have you here." And he goes, "Thank you." And he reaches for his hand and misses the first time. And the reason why is, chat, the actor who played Rel the Cyclops, Bernard Bresslaw, all the makeup they had on him, he couldn't actually see anything because you couldn't see a single goddamn thing, chat. So he had to act completely blind throughout the entire movie. So every time he's walking, it's always off to the side a little bit because he doesn't know where the fuck he's going. And he usually has the kid on his back, and the kid in the film, chat, Titch or whatever the hell his name is, would direct the actor where to go. It was like a Master Blaster situation, like from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. It was just like that, chat, where they have the little guy, and he has the mind of a child. That's what it was. It's fucking hilarious. So the kid had to direct him like a horse how to walk and move, so he wouldn't even fall into the sets or the other actors or even the swamp that they were, because the quicksand that they built was actual quicksand like pits, and they didn't want this big guy to fall in there, chat. He would have fucking drowned, and the kid would have drowned too because he would have went head first in that shit. So they're all walking, and the Seer's just like, I'm tired, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna catch up with you. And they're like, should we stay with you? So it's like, nah, man, I have the gift of sight. I see all. I could see danger coming from a mile away. And I'm like, all right, we'll see you in a bit. And of course, Chad, that proved to be incorrect, because all the fucking sudden, we see a creature that looks like the Seer. He appears behind the Seer, Chad, and he's like, excuse me. He goes, he gets fucking stabbed in the goddamn face, shit. He goes, ah! And the Seer, his body is thrown into the quicksand pits. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. And eventually, Ray the Cyclops goes, or Rel the Cyclops is like, I'm gonna go back to the Seer just to see if he's okay. And they're like, okay, well, we'll wait for you. And so he goes back, Chad. He goes back on his own. And apparently they missed each other, because the Seer eventually arrives, and he goes, hey, how you guys doing? Sorry, I got separated there from you for a bit. Hey, he's like, hey, where's Prince Cowan? Oh, he's such a great guy. And he's like, oh, he's right here. And they're like, okay, let me get a grip of that shoulder. And throughout this scene, Chad, he's just gripping his shoulder and fingering him and getting so closer to his neck, like, oh, yes, you're quite young and supple and ooh, very, very, oh, your muscles are so tight. He's like, excuse me? He's like, oh, nothing, no, don't worry about it. But then we come back to Rel the Cyclops, Chad, who arrives where the Seer originally was. But then, Chad, the quicksand pits, they bubble up, and they produce the dissected corpse of the Seer, Chad. And Rel's like, oh, shit. And he runs back, Chad, as quick as his big fat ass can take him, Chad. But eventually, we cut back to the Seer and Prince Cowan, chat, and he's the fucking Seer's nails have grown in size. It looks like Wolverine. He's got Wolverine hands, and he goes, "I'm gonna kill you!" And he tries to kill him, chat. But thank God, Rel the Cyclops had a trident, chat, and he threw that shit like half a mile. Boom! Hits the Seer. He's like, ah! And then his skin starts to get boils and pustules, Chad. He's like, argh! And he dies, Chad, and he goes back into the quicksand. He's like a little worm boy. And they're like, what the fuck? Was that the Seer the whole time? And Ynir's like, well, no, it can't be it. And Rel comes over, he says, nah, man. Whatever that fucking creature was, it killed the Seer, so apparently he couldn't see shit, can't see me, and it changed into him, and Ynir's like, a changeling, another agent of the Beast and the Slayers, and it's like, goddamn, people are getting got left, right in this movie, chat. Or he lost some of the bands to quicksand, and the main guy that you need to get you where you're going, he's dead now, so they don't know where the Black Fortress is. They don't know where the Stump Pimple is. They're like, what are we gonna do? And a fucking Ynir goes, there is one person who knows how to get there. It's like, bullshit. You said there's only one person on the planet of Krull who knows how to get to the Black Fortress, okay? So he's changing the goddamn rules all of a sudden. He's like, Well, I said only one man on the planet of Krull knows how to get to the fortress. Not one woman. It's like, oh, I see. So, a woman, Chet. A woman could show him the way. Why didn't he go to the woman first, Chet? We will soon find out. And he says, listen, this part, you can't join me for. Only I can accomplish this task. So you guys wait here for a little bit, and I'll come back and I'll tell you how. Hopefully, I'll find a way to get back to the Black Fortress or find a way to the Black Fortress. And they're like, okay, sounds great. And so while this is happening, Liam Neeson says, I'm in the movie still. Can I have something to do? And they go, yes, Liam Neeson. What would you like to do? Well, we don't have any food or drinking water. So how about we go to this nearby village where one of my wives is? What do you mean one of your wives? Oh, I got like 7 or 8 of them on the planet of Krull. And he goes, wow, you get around. He's like, yes, I do. And so let's fill our tummies and enjoy ourselves and have hot sex. And he's like, that sounds great. So he goes to one of his wives, chat. She brings all these meats and cheeses and veggies and all. It's so delicious, chat. And he has sex with one of his wives. Also, chat, we're introduced to a new character, and she has been taken in. She's a refugee that Liam Neeson's wife took in, one of his 7 to 8 wives, chat. And they're like, why doesn't she talk? And she goes, her family was burned alive by the Slayers. And he goes, shit, that's fucked up. And he goes, yeah. You want to have sex? And he's like, yep. And so they have sex. But this refugee, chat, she takes a great interest in Prince Cowan, and wishes to help him and provides food for him, chat, and drink and sex. She's like, oh, you know what? Let me comfort you in this time, my lord. And he's like, I'm sorry. I know you've been through so much, but I'm promised to another. It's someone who my heart is quite dear to. And she goes, that bitch ain't here right now. Let's get it on. Let's fucking. He's like, no. Meanwhile, we cut back to the Black Fortress, chat, where the Beast is like, hey, Princess Lisa, and she's like, what? He's like, you want to marry me now? She's like, no, you're weird and gross and creepy. He's like, but I'm pretty goddamn faithful. She's like, what are you talking about? It's like, your hubby to be, he's cheating on you right now. She's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he just produces like this TV screen for her. He's like, look what's going on. And she sees this shit. She's like, oh my God. And she sees the refugee girl just rubbing up on Prince Cowan, chat. But she notices that he's not into it. He's like, no, I'm promised to my, the woman of my dreams, the love of my life, Prince Lisa. No, get away from me. And she's like, yo, your dark magic and tricks will not fool me, Beast. And he goes, listen, okay, he's gonna forget you, but I'm not gonna forget you. And I might be gross right now, but I could be in any form. I could be in any form that pleases you. And so he turns himself into Prince Cowan, chat, or kind of, but he still has the weird evil red eyes, and he's got like pointy ears. He goes, hey. She's like, nah, I don't want any of this. No fucking thank you. He goes, oh, fucking fine. So as long as you don't marry me, then the people of Krull, all of the innocents of Krull, the men, the women, and the children too, they will all suffer by my hand unless you put a wedding band on that finger and we get to having the sex. And she's like, I'll never do that. He's like, well, I'm going to start killing people starting right now with your husband. Do it, bitch. And the refugee, chat, she turns into like a demon creature. And she is one of the agents of the Beast. And she's like, if you're not going to have hot, sweaty sex with me, then I'll kill you. And she starts like choking the shit out of Prince Cowan. She's like, oh. But it's okay, chat, because the fucking Cyclops and his buddies Tranquil and Liam Neeson, they're like, oh, run over, chat. And they're like, stop it. They throw her off of her. They throw her off of her, chat. And the refugee, chat, she realizes that what she did was wrong. She says, I'm sorry that I forced you into sex. It was not consensual. And also for trying to murder you. I realized that I did something bad. Forgive me. And they're like, oh, don't worry, you're forgiven. You fell under the Beast's spell. But the Beast hears that. He's just like, you can never get good help nowadays. And he fucking sets her on fire. She's like, ah! And so she burns alive. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. And it's a fucked up situation, chap. It's a refugee girl. She's burned alive. Eventually, though, we cut back to Ynir, chat, and he is scaling a mountain as you do. And any place where you got to get to like a weapon of some kind, chat, or talk to somebody, you got to scale a mountain. And he's scaling a mountain, chat. He's going to be talking to, who the fuck is the character called? Oh, Madam Web from Spider-Man, chat. He's going to be talking to Madam Web from Spider-Man. People told him, like, why are you going to go talk to Madam Web from Spider-Man? Because she can help us. She knows all and sees all. And, she's a person of many names. Yeah, her name is Death. He's like, well, I used to know her by another name. name in my youth. So it's like, wait a minute, did Ynir used to fuck the Spider Girl woman? And it's like, well, we're gonna find out, chat, because he scales the mountaintop and he comes upon a cavern, chat, and he goes into it, and it's filled with webbing and everything. And eventually, Chad, he goes in the cave and he sees a bright, shining light. And in the middle of this massive web, Chad, it's just like this giant, like, ball. It's like this giant egg sack or something. He goes, huh? And slowly, Chad, he's like, well, and like below him, Chad, it's nothing. It's just the dark abyss. And so we see this actor, this old man, try to make across these webs, and it's so goofy looking. It's hilarious. He's like, oh shit, oh god. He's trying to hold himself up. It's a bit of a struggle, Chad. He's making his way over, and then a fucking claymation white spider appears, chat, and it's like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna eat you. He's trying to eat Ynir, chat, trying to get him, but thankfully he avoids it somehow, chat, using his old man wizard powers, and he gets inside the egg sack, chat, where he finds Madam Web from Spider-Man, and he's like, hey, you got a minute? And she's like, I never thought I would see you again. And he's like, I could never forget a face as beautiful as yours, Lisa. And it's like, wait a minute, is this Princess Lisa? What the hell's going on? No, chat. Her name just also happens to be Lisa, too. And she's like, oh, Ynir. Oh, I hated you for so many years when you left. And he's like, I needed to leave. I needed to leave. There was so much work to be done. The people of Krull needed me. And I asked you to join me to share our powers amongst the people. And I had to do this, and you chose not to. And she brings up, I hated you for so goddamn long that when I had your baby, I killed it. And he's like, what? So apparently, Chad, these two were, him and Ynir and Madam Web, Chad, the spider lady, they were lovers at one time, and they had great power, but he chose to share with the world, and she chose not to. And he left the spider egg sack, I guess, which was their domain. And, you know, she was so mad at him, Chad, she wanted to kill him, but she was pregnant with his child, and when she front pooped it out, she stabbed it. And it's just like, wow, there's a lot going on here. A lot of context we're getting right here, chat. And the thing is, though, chat, the gods of Krull were so disgusted and enraged by her selfish act that they imprisoned her in the egg sack for eternity, and they put that giant white spider outside, and it's like she could live forever inside the egg sack, but if she were to venture out, then she would die. Unless she had the red sand from the hourglass that keeps her old but immortal for all time. And so it's like, okay. And Ynir's like, hey, that's pretty fucked up. She goes, it is, but I hate you. He's like, listen, I'm sorry that I left you all those years ago, but the people of Krull, they needed me, and they need us now more than ever, okay? I'm sorry that our child died. And then she starts crying because she didn't want to kill the kid, chat. She was just so enraged at the moment. She says, I took your son from you. I'm sorry. And he's like, shit happens. Listen, you know, it's the next generation. Let's help the next generation out, okay? Listen, I'll always love you. I will always love you. I always remember the time we had with each other. And this somehow, chat, makes her turn young again briefly. And she could stare in her reflection. We see what she used to look like. She's all hot and stuff. And it's like, ooh, nice. And he sits next to her and he says, listen, I need to know where the stump pimple is, also known as the Black Fortress. Do you know where it is? She goes, yes, I know, but with knowledge comes sacrifice. And I will tell you where it is. She tells him it will soon be, in a day's time, it'll soon be in the deserts of Krull. It's currently in the mountain region, but it'll be in the desert region soon. And he goes, okay, so you want to come with me? She goes, no, we can't leave now. He's like, what? But I got to tell the people. She goes, there is only one way to leave the spider egg sack, and it is to destroy, it's complicated, it is to destroy the hourglass of immortality, and you got to carry the red sand in your fist. But when you do that, when you touch the red sand, you can't let any of it fall out of your hand or you'll die. And he says, so that's what it has to be. And he's like, yes. Also, I'm going to just die here since I can't move and I'm all old and shit. So I'm going to let the spider eat me. Sounds good? He goes, okay. So she breaks the hourglass. He takes a fistful of the sand, chat, which is like, this is it. This is all he has now. And she stays there. So he fucking does the trapeze act to the side of the cavern. And the spider's like, I'm going to get you, bitch. comes after him, chat, but misses him just by this much. And he's like, I'm going to eat that old lady. And the spider goes back, chat, and eats the old lady. Okay? This is what's happening. This is what's happening right now. Bad you think of the fight, but wait, is this actually related to spider? No, it's not. But the character's basically Madam Web. That's what it is. Let me see what the character's actual name is. The Widow of the Web. It's very close. The Widow of the Web, chat, Madam Web, you know. Very accurate, chat. Very accurate. So, he's going down the mountain, chat, but he's dropping more sand. His life force is leaving him. Eventually, he gets down there, chat, but he accidentally trips over him. He trips over his old man feet, chat. All the sand comes out. He's like, gather around me. I'm going to die in like 5 seconds. They're like, oh, shit, what's wrong? And he says, listen, the Black Fortress, the Pimple Stump, it's going to be in the deserts of Krull in a day's time. I love you. And he dies. He's like, holy shit. And Prince Cowan's like, wow, I did not expect that. Well, we got to bury him. So they bury him, chat. They bury him. And they're like, well, how are we going to get there in a day's time? It's not possible. Chat. They got magic horses. And, you know, Rel says there's magic horses nearby. If we wrangle us some magic horses, these horses will go faster than the speed of fucking light. And we'll get there like in an hour. And they're like, cool. And so they all go, they wrangle some magic horses, Chad. They capture them. And they get them on it. And they're like, oh, great, we got the magic horses. We can go attack the Black Fortress now. But Rel's like, sorry, I can't go with you. He's like, why? He's just like, it's not my time. It's not my time. I can't do it. And everyone's like all sad and shit. And like Ergo, the Magnificent, he's like, oh, Rel, there wasn't time to like really bond or talk or anything. He's like, don't worry, man. I'll see you again. He's like, cool. And so they all go towards the Black Fortress, chat, on their stallions. These have been referenced in pop culture too. They're basically just horses, chat, but when they gallop, they produce flames underneath their hooves. And so it's like an explosion's going off. It's actually kind of, I mean, it's goofy to look at, but the whole implication's kind of cool. It's that eventually they get to the Black Fortress, chat, and they're right against it. They got to the deserts of Krull, and they all get off the horses. And then they're scaling the Black Fortress, chat. They're trying to find a secret way in because they can't go through the front door. Too many Slayers there, chat. There must be another way into the Black Fortress. But as they're crawling up, chat, oh no, the Slayers, they're opening like secret doors and windows and they're blasting them with their laser spears. And Jesus Christ, Hagrid just got shot in the tummy. He goes, "Goo!" And Hagrid is dead. Hagrid just dies right there, chat. It's like a giant-sized hole in his tummy. And he's dead. And it's like, oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, Marilyn Carizian, for resubscribing 3 months in a row using that Twitch Prime subscription. Very, very kind. Oh, ripping everybody off. Oh, no doubt about it, Bad Shields. No doubt about it. Woo. Oh, Devo Jr., good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're doing very well. So Hagrid, he dies, chat. And Prince Cowan, he holds Hagrid's, like, just exploded body in his arms, what's left of him. And he tells him, and Hagrid's just like, hey, listen, remember I talked shit to you earlier in the movie? He goes, yeah, I'm sorry about that. This quest was worth it, okay? Save the people of Krull and say your beloved wife. And he's dead. And so like, oh shit, how the hell are we gonna get up there? Because everything's blocked off. Thank you. Who was this new person that followed me? Bluejin, one thing with volume. My new Huckleberry, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well tonight. Hope you're enjoying my review of Krull, a completely original movie. And so the thing is, though, chat, they can't go forward and they can't go back or they're going to get shot by the laser spears. But, oh, no, all not is lost, chat, because from the distance they see on one of the magic horses, chat, Rel the Cyclops. Why did Rel have to wait the whole damn time just for this moment? I don't know. He just wanted to be the fucking hero. That's what he wanted to be. And he's on top of the fucking horse, chat, and he's just throwing tridents like, all at the Slayers, chat, and they're all getting stabbed and shit, and they're all falling over, and they're dying, chat, they're dying. And eventually, Rel, he's leading the goddamn charge up the Black Fortress, chat, where he just rips the fucking head off one of the Slayer shit. He's holding this door back. This door is trying to close. He's like, you must go forward. You must go to the Black Fortress. They all pile into the Black Fortress, chat. Fucking Prince Cowan and Tranquil and Liam Neeson and all the other people, chat. They're fucking Ergo, they all pile in their chat, but oh no, the door is slowly closing upon the Rel the Cyclops. Like, we gotta hold the door, we gotta make sure he gets in there. He's like, no, this is my death. This was foretold. And chat, the door fucking crushes him to death. So you see all of his fucking Cyclops intestines, his eyeball goes right out of his god. It's like, oh my God, what a way to go out. So he is crushed to death inside of a door. And it's like, holy shit. And these guys are like, okay, we got to keep moving. Everyone's dying. Everyone's dying. Spectre Saunders' YouTube is down. Fires have broken out across the wall. Oh, no. Oh, no. But Twitch lives. Steve, how's it going? I can't hear Juicy, but he's moving around like crazy. You can't hear me? Oh, no. Oh, you're watching it on mute. Got you. I'm moving around. People, a Cyclops exploded. His guts were everywhere. And so now they're inside the Black Fortress chat, but much has been sacrificed. Much has been sacrificed in this time. And they're like, where do we got to go? And they're like, we have no fucking idea. They don't know where to go. And so they decide, chat, to split up to cover more ground. And that was not smart. Because as they get split up, chat, Liam Neeson, he gets shot. He gets his entire chest. Like, he gets shot by one of the laser spears, chat. And it just creates a giant, massive hole in his chest, chat. So his nips are gone. His heart is gone. He's just dead. And they're holy shit, Liam Neeson's dead. And so they keep running. Eventually, Ergo and Twitch, they get separated, and Twitch, he's about to be stabbed to death by the Slayer's chat, but Ergo's like, don't touch that kid, because Ergo has started to care very deeply for the child chat, not in a sexual way, he's not a pedophile, but like a father figure, because, Twitch lost his master, the seer, and the kid has nothing. Ergo's like, well, I want to take care of this kid, because I feel bad I couldn't save his master, and so he transforms, he actually becomes competent, chat. He turns into a fucking tiger, and he spends the rest of the movie just mauling the Slayers, chat, and ripping their bodies, just eviscerating them. It's like, oh, what a badass moment. Eventually, though, chat, we cut back to Prince Colin and the rest of the guys, and he's like, oh, they find this giant, like, chrysalis bubble, and they realize, like, oh, fuck, I bet, what's her name, Princess Lisa's in there. And Prince Colin says, I'm going to concentrate on blowing up this bubble. You make sure to secure our exit. And they go in a different direction. And so he uses the glaive, and he throws the glaive for the first time. Now he knows the moment to use the glaive. And the glaive starts hitting the giant chrysalis, chat. And Princess Lisa, she is in there. And she's hearing the glaive strike upon the chrysalis. Thank you, show, for the 10 biddies. Oh, my heart's a pitter-pattern, chat. So action-fucking-packed. Everyone buy Pornhub stock now. Buy it. Do it now. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, Twitch is sus. Twitch did it to Utah. Would not be surprised. Spectre. And so the rest of the group, they're trying to secure their exit, chat. But, oh, no, they get caught in, like, a trap. And it's these giant hentai spikes, chat. They're like coming out, but they only move when you move, chat. And if they stay still, they don't move. But one of these fucking dumbasses is like, I dropped my sword. And he goes back for it, chat. He goes, gah! And he's slowly stabbed to death by these giant hentai spears. And Tranquil and this one other guy, chat, this young kid, they're like the only two bandits left of the bandits that joined them on their journey, chat. There was like 20 of them. They're all dead now, except for these two. And so at this point, though, we cut back to Prince Colin, chat, and he has freed Princess Lisa from the chrysalis cocoon, and she runs to him, and they're smooching, and they're like, oh, I love you too, thank God for saving me. The fucking beast is disgusting. The beast reveals himself. He's like, you took my bride, you shall die. Prince Colin's like, the fuck I will. And this is a badass scene, chat. He just starts throwing the glaive at the beast. The beast is like, oh, fucking shit, and it cuts like his arm, and she's like, oh my God. And he's like, he's trying to fight against him, chat. He's like vomiting. He's like vomiting light bombs at him, like, blah, blah, and they're trying to hit Prince Colin, chat, like filled with sparks and fire. And Prince Colin's like, two can play that game. And then all of a sudden, chat, he has fire hands. Prince Colin, chat, the glaive is like, listen, I can bequeath certain abilities to people, and you now have fire hands. And so he literally has flamethrower hands now, chat. And the glaive is continuing to cut the beast apart. And the beast is like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna lose. And he just falls back, chat. He falls like into another chamber in his pimple stump fortress. And you think, oh, Prince Colin's just gonna leave. No, Prince Colin's all about that double tap, baby. Thank you so much. Awesome K2A, thank you so much for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. So Prince Colin's like, I'm all about that double tap. And he does a fucking superhero landing in the chamber, chat, where he sees the beast, and he just unleashes flamethrower hands on him. The beast is like, fuck, shit, and he just sets him on fire, chat. Meanwhile, the glaive embeds itself into the beast's brain, chat, just digs its way in. It's like, ah! And the beast, chat, falls over dead. The beast is dead, chat. But with the destruction of the beast, chat, his fortress begins to fall because he had like weird interdimensional space and time powers. And so if he dies, the fortress dies, all the Slayers die. And thankfully, the hentai spears, chat, that kill one of the bandits, they all start to fall apart, and Tranquil and the kid bandit that's with him, they run out of there. Eventually, they come upon Ergo, who's all fucked up as a tiger, and Twitch, but they rescue them too. Meanwhile, Prince Cowan and Lisa, they're also running, chat. Eventually, they all meet up with each other, and they're like, we just gotta fucking jump out of here, guys. And as the fortress is falling apart, so they jump out of the fortress, chat, land onto the desert. Oh, actually, no, they're on a field now, because the castle changed place. So they land onto one of the fields of Krull, as the castle is slowly being sucked up back into space, chat, and exploding in midair. And they look upon it, chat, they cheer in victory as they defeated the Slayers and the Beast. And his evils shall no longer harm the people of Krull or any innocent life in the galaxy, chat, in the universe. And then Prince Colin, he kisses his beautiful bride, his bride-to-be, and he turns to Tranquil, chat, one of the few surviving members of his journey, and he gives him the keys. He gives him the royal keys for prisoners, and he says, why are you giving them these to me? He says, like, the only two people can have these keys. Those who are kings and those who are the wardens of Krull, so the greatest warriors and protectors in all the realm. And you will be my warden. You'll be my protector, Tranquil. He's like, whoa, thanks! And he takes off all his, like, bonds, chat, and they all fucking skip, and they're like, yay! And then Ynir, chat, he comes back. He's like, I'm still dead, but I'm doing the narration, too. And he said, the people of Krull were overjoyed, and Prince Cowan and Princess Cowan, they ruled Krull together, and their child, their chosen child, ruled all the galaxy. It's like, whoa, are we going to see that? Nope. The movie didn't do well, Chad. It was a commercial failure, so you'll never see a sequel to Krull. Unless there is, I don't know. But you know, Ergo, he's good, Chad. He's like the magician working for Krull, and you got the little Twitch boy. He's now the true seer of Krull. But there you go, Chad. That is Krull, the 1983 sci-fi fantasy movie. Now listen. A lot of crazy fucking shit in this movie. Not gonna lie. A lot of weird stuff. A lot of derivative stuff, Chad. But I found myself enjoying it. There was a lot of cool different ideas in here. I like the idea for the villains. The Beast was really unique. Has a great score, chat. There's some really cool, great moments. It's bloody as all hell. It's violent as all hell. I'm like, all right, you're doing something different, movie. I appreciate you for what you're doing here. Like, a lot of people fucking die in this film. A lot of people die, chat. So don't get attached. Don't get attached. So I really enjoyed myself. I'd probably give it, on the DT scale, on the double toasted scale, I would give it a matinee. I'd give it a matinee, chat. It's a solid matinee. It's just one of those 80s sci-fi fantasy films that tried to be Star Wars but just couldn't be. But it has a lot of cool things in it that it warrants a watch. At least one watch, chat, in my opinion. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed the review and the story of Krull. Also, the glaive is now in space. The glaive is now in space, chat, and it's going throughout the universe. It's to a new location, to a new place, to find another individual who can wield the glaive, chat, and save their people. Yes. Is this secretly a Narnia circle? Maybe. They should just do it. Krull is now a part of C.S. Lewis's Narnia books. I'll allow it. Oh man, hentai spears. So they are pixelated. Yes, they are. They all are. They can't show that. Can't show that in 1983. But there you go, guys.